ladies and gentlemen. I think I'm back here again after almost 1.5 years. Let's say 1 year, and it's always good to have an opportunity to address you, obviously addressing you through to the nation. I stand on the existing protocol by the Minister for the Information, Honorable Kojopo Nkrumah, and say the friends of the media. For me, I'm glad again to be back on the orders of the President to brief the nation on the military operation currently taking place, especially in the western region on the River Pra, which the Ghana Armed Forces is currently undertaking. If you remember, or if you recall, at the opening ceremony of the National Dialogue on Small-Scale Mining on Monday at the Accra International Press Center, or Accra International Conference Center, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces reaffirmed his commitment to clamping down on illegal mining because it's essentially destroying our future. What actions we take today will determine what future we have tomorrow. And so the President is very much aware. He had already put his political future online to fight this calamity, and he reaffirmed it, even though we face serious problems during the electionary campaign because of the commitment of the President to clean up what has been going on. And he said, and I quote, "We must all demonstrate that we love our land and are capable of taking care of it ourselves. The Chinese will not come and take care of Ghana. The Nigerians will not come and take care of Ghana. The Ivorians will not take care of us. It is Ghanaians who have to take care of Ghana. What is happening in Ghana is not happening in Ivory Coast, our nearest neighbor. And so it is the Ghanaians who have to take care of ourselves. If we don't have water to drink, we will not get water anywhere. And so we must protect our water bodies." Ladies and gentlemen, if you remember, in August 2017, the President launched Operation Calm Life. And so a joint team of police and military moved in to stop illegal mining across the entire country, in all forms, vanguard, across the entire country. But in March 2020, after the military operations had achieved its desired objectives, it was withdrawn, leaving the police to continue with Operation Vanguard. But as the minister, my good friend, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, has observed on his thoughts, illegal mining is on the ascendancy again, particularly in areas that they should not happen, river bodies and water and forest reserves, which he will give a policy direction, and I don't want to take the wind out of his sail. He will give that policy direction, so I will leave that. And so His Excellency the President, after the communique that came out of the National Consultative Assembly, ordered the Ghana Armed Forces to carry out a surgical operation to flush out illegal miners, including foreigners from the country, on our river bodies and forest reserves. This operation was launched on Wednesday, the 28th of April, to remove all illegal miners and equipment from all our river bodies, especially the major ones, starting with River Pra. The operation is codenamed Operation HALT. Operation HALT is not a new operation. It was launched first in 2009 to do exactly what we are doing: flush out illegal miners. We have just continued that operation in line with the President's orders. This operation is being conducted by personnel drawn from the Ghana Army, the Ghana Navy, and the Ghana Air Force. A total of 200 all ranks, with the support from the Ghana Police Service, Ghana Immigration Service, and Forestry Commission, and allied security agencies are taking part. For the armed forces, the breakdown is as follows. Army, 154 all ranks. That is officers and men, 154. For the Navy, 40 all ranks. That is the Navy officers and men. And for the Air Force, 6 all ranks. And so we have 200 strong men drawn from the Ghana Armed Forces, led by their respective CEOs. So 64 is leading the eastern flank of River Pra, and 2BN, located in Takoradi or sited in Takoradi, is leading the western flank of River Pra, and the Navy is using their boats within the river itself. And they are sweeping from the beginning of the river towards Chofi-Praso. It's a 3-day operation which will end today. In view of the nature of the terrain and the tasks involved, the troops deployed a number of logistics or equipment to carry out the troops or the tasks. This includes TCVs, troop carrying vehicles, assault boats, helicopters, and drones. We want to be very open to the public. So you will see helicopters in action, you will see drones in action, you will see troop carrying vehicles in action, you see fully armed men in action. The operation commenced at 06 hours on Wednesday, the 28th of April 2021, with simultaneous activities on the western and eastern banks of River Pra by the infantry elements, while the Navy and engineered troops conducted riverine operations on the river. The Ghana Air Force provided air cover and took aerial photographs of the operations. And by 18 hours, which is 6 p.m., when operations were halted for the day, 2 Chinese nationals were arrested at Atieku near Chofi-Praso in the central region. The Chinese, Wei Gang-ying and Wei Gang-ming, have all been handed over to the National Security for further interrogation. They will be prosecuted. Ladies and gentlemen, it is noted that since the commencement of the operation from Wednesday the 28th to Thursday 29th, the troops have destroyed a number of equipment, including 9 excavators, 127 chamfine machines, platforms associated with mining equipment, 1 fuel pump. Furthermore, the following items have been seized and will be destroyed, except items that will be used as exhibit in courts. 8x24 plate batteries, 1 pump action gun case, a generator, Huawei phone, chainsaw machine, 8 raincoats, fuel filters, non-citizen Ghana card, ID card, 2 drilling equipment, and 2 boots. This will be destroyed except equipment that the police deem necessary for their work for prosecution. Otherwise, everything on site will be destroyed. What are the future plans? Ladies and gentlemen, this operation will be conducted on all major river and forest reserves in all Galamsey endemic regions. Let me repeat. It will be conducted in all river bodies, the major river bodies and forest reserves in all Galamsey endemic regions throughout the country to rid them of illegal mining activities. And take note of what I'm just going to say. There will be aerial patrols where GAF has already swept past. Armed men will be authorized to take action, immediate action, on anyone who returns to these river bodies as the patrol goes by air. So once the armed forces sweep past, we expect that nobody should return to the place. But helicopters We carry armed men to patrol the place every 3 days. And anybody found operating, again, on the areas that have been cleared, the security will be tasked to take immediate action. Whatever they say or whatever they do, we cannot communicate to you, but they will take action. So it is not in your interest to return to site. And we want this message carried out to the people of Ghana. Don't return to site. Once it is cleared, we expect the river bodies to return to normal. The task of the armed forces and the Ministry of Lands and Forestry is to ensure that River Pra is cleaned up. And we'll do everything and anything to make sure it is cleaned up for the people of Ghana to see that result. And we'll continue like that in all river bodies. Ladies and gentlemen, it is instructive to note that the level of degradation is unimaginable. Aquatic life lost completely. It's been observed that heavy equipment is being used for illegal mining activities on River Pra. Some of them have been withdrawn, hoping that will not come back and they'll bring it back. But I'm sorry, we'll always be there. But it's not a stationary force like Vanguard. Additionally, some of the illegal mining sites have been a little bit inaccessible, but the armed forces will get there. GAV was tasked to conduct operations at Nyong Forest as well, and 2 Chinese were also arrested. But the recommendations that we want to give you is, 1, that together as stakeholders, especially the media, you should partner the security agencies, particularly the Ministry of Lands, and assist us to ensure that we succeed in what we are doing. We will get to the traditional authorities for their assistance as well. Whilst we ask all foreign partners to ensure that if their nationals are caught and prosecuted, it is for the sake of our laws and our country and our people. There is a fake video circulating around claiming that it is part of the operations. Ignore such fake things. As a country, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources organized a bipartisan, all-inclusive, national consultative dialogue. We came out with a communique as a nation, and we are following through it. We don't want the politicization of the actions again. We've done enough politics, galamsey politics. Videos are bound where people are doing galamsey politics. We don't want that any longer. Let us all love this country and let us succeed. So I would call my colleague, the minister, to continue from here, whilst the technical questions about the actual operation, the military will be here to answer any technical question that you want, but he will give the policy direction as he leads this fight to ensure that we get to where we want to get to. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Minister for Defense, Minister for Interior, Minister for Information, officers of the Military High Command, our friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. Let me first of all thank the Minister for Information for putting this press encounter together. It's very useful, and I think that it will help. And also very quickly thank the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, the Minister for Defense, the Minister for Interior, the Minister for National Security, and the Military High Command for the work they've actually started. I mean, I think that the work they've begun is going to help us at the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources a great deal. We are highly happy about the work they are doing. Now, I just want to bring some clarity on where we are, the issues on the table, and the framework we have put in place. We are all very familiar with the issues of illegal small-scale mining in our country. I will not go through all of that. But the President took the view that it's about time that we have a broad-based, bipartisan, national conversation about illegal small-scale mining. I think the President is very right, because anybody who is familiar with the extractive industry across the world is an industry which is almost like the cocaine industry, because in that industry we are talking about huge sums of money. So if you don't have a national consensus around it, it becomes difficult. You pull in the right direction, another part of the nation is pulling the other way, you will not make a headway. Thankfully, under the leadership of the president, we are fortunate to have organized some largely successful national consultation on illegal small-scale mining. And I believe Ghanaians were happy to see leading members of literally all the political parties in our country in attendance. I just returned from a tour in the Western region where I was accompanied by the ranking members of the National Democratic Congress in Parliament, the Honorable Rashid Pelpo and Suwini and co, and it went very well. So we've done that. The second thing we did was to examine the terrain. And the ministry came to the conclusion that there are two critical areas of the fight or of our national life which require special attention, which are our water bodies and forest reserves. Let's face it, when Ghanaians are up in arms and outraged about illegal small-scale mining, fundamentally, they are talking about the water bodies of our country, the state of our water bodies. They are talking about our forest reserves. The illegal small-scale mining which takes place everywhere else is important, and we are going to deal with that. And in fact, we are dealing with that. But the water bodies and forest reserves, we came to the well-reasoned conclusion that those are high priorities. And so measures were put in place. The first measure we took was to direct the Forestry Commission to cease the issuance of forest entry permits for purposes of mining. For those who are familiar with the processes leading to actual legal mining in forest reserves, having secured all your permits from the Minerals Commission, the EPA, and so on and so forth, you require a forest entry permit in order to mine in a forest reserve. If you are going to mine at a place which is not a forest reserve, you don't require a forest entry permit. But if it's a place which is designated as forest reserve, you have to go to the Forestry Commission for a permit in order to be able to mine. So we'll put a freeze on that, which means there cannot be further mining in forest reserves. I have to clarify that. For the enterprises or operations or companies who have already acquired mining licenses or mining leases and gotten forest entry permits and are mining and following the protocols, the environmental protocols, they have what we call accrued rights. So this instruction will not take a retroactive effect. So it will not affect them. And there are a good number of responsible large-scale, small-scale mining schemes going on in forest reserves with the right permit. But in the future, no more forest entry permits. 2, we also observed that people come up to apply for prospecting, recognizance, and or exploration licenses. And again, those who are familiar with the mining industry, those kinds of licenses are for you to go and check whether or not the concession is mineralized, whether or not you can find minerals in the concession. If you find minerals, you then will come back to the Minerals Commission to go through the processes all the way to get a mineral operating permit and a forest entry permit before you can mine. But we observe that people come, they get the license for prospecting, and then they move straight away to mine. And when they are confronted, they pull a piece of paper which says, I have a license, which is a prospecting license, or a recognizance license. In some cases, they've just put in the application. The Minerals Commission is evaluating the application, then they proceed to mine. So we've suspended all prospecting, recognizance, and or exploration in forest reserves in our country. Whether you have license or you do not have license, or your application for a license is pending, no more prospecting in forest reserves, no more recognizance in forest reserves, no more exploration. So that has also been done. The water bodies, the Water Resources Commission Act, the Minerals and Mining Act 208, Act 703, the guidelines which emanated from that and all of that, prescribes clearly that mining cannot take place 100 meters away from the bounds of a river body. So that is clear. So it's a law. And we had a bit of a discussion in the ministry as to whether or not the communique we issued should state that people cannot mine in our river bodies. But it was unnecessary because it's already outlawed. And so where we are, forest reserves and water bodies, the president has declared those red zones. So for government and for the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, forest reserves, water bodies, red zones. And that is why the Ghana Armed Forces are moving in the manner that they are. So I just want to say that there is a lot of clarity now. And the instructions which were given, we gave 7 days ultimatum for all persons engaged in these activities to suspend their activities and evacuate their equipment. So let me repeat that. We don't say suspend the activities alone. You see, having suspended the activities, if you have equipment in forest reserves for which you were deploying for the purposes of prospecting, exploration, or reconnaissance, evacuate them. So the deadline is today. At the level of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, we have put together a monitoring and evaluation team headed by the Honorable Benito, MP from Wabieja, who is the Deputy Minister in my ministry. And that monitoring team is going to come out with a statement this afternoon. We're establishing a situation room. We are putting out telephone lines. Ghanaians can call to report that I live in Apamprama. There's a forest reserve. People are still engaged in prospecting there, or people are mining a forest reserve. The monitoring team will then alert the national security architecture apparatus so they can move in. In addition to that, and in accordance with the highest standards of transparency, I have here in my hand a list of prospecting recognizance licenses within forest reserves, those granted and those pending. And we have 105 of them. You have them, the particulars are name of company, name of forest reserve, location of forest reserve, municipal district, location of forest reserve region, date of forest permit, date of expiry, and all of that. I have instructed both the Minerals and Forestry Commission by close of working day, 7th May, Friday, to publish this list. So we all have it. Ghanaians will have it. Publish it, put it out in the public domain. So everybody knows the companies who are holding prospecting or recognizance licenses and those whose applications are pending. So there is abundance of transparency in what we are trying to do. I'd like to conclude on this note. And the note is that let all of us appreciate that this is a complex industry. I haven't been Minister for Lands and Natural Resources for too long, but I've been around long enough to come to the firm conclusion that this is a complex industry. I said it at the National Consultative Forum. I want to repeat it. The President's resolve alone will not be enough. My resolve alone will not be enough. The ministers, security minister, their resolve alone will not be enough. It will require a national effort. And again, anybody who has a little understanding of illegal small-scale mining, with all these measures we are putting in place, if in a community, the chief, the local government authority, DC, assembly people, unit committee people, the head of the security people there, this tripod, if these 3 people are not cooperating, all we are doing here will come to naught. So I want to conclude by calling on Ghanaians, by calling on all and sundry chiefs, opinion leaders, political parties, media, and media as well, the way we put the issues out, the way we expose people, the way we stick to the principles. The enforcement begins, and when we are getting a bit hard, before long, some video, and this paper, the soldiers have done that, the police have, that will not help. We have to be resolute on this matter. And I want to reassure the good people of this country on behalf of the President and his government that the commitment of government in this matter, particularly as they relate to water bodies and forest reserves, what we describe as the red zones, is absolutely unflinching and unequivocal. Thank you very much.